Good evening, parents, and welcome to our Ashford Park Georgia Milestone Spring Meeting. Go back up. I'm going to admit people who join late. Um, this meeting will not be very long. I thank you for your time for coming on. It's usually about 15 to 20 minutes. I'll go over some highlights about Georgia Milestones. Mostly third grade parents. It's a good meeting for you because it's your child's first time going through it. Fourth and fifth grade parents, the only thing that's going to be new is our schedule this year. I'm also recording the meeting just to let you guys know, and so I will post that on Dojo. So if you want your cameras off or you're on, whatever you feel comfortable with, but I'm going to record this for parents who are not able to attend, and I'll post that on Dojo. So the purpose of this meeting is to inform and explain and provide the requirements of the Georgia Milestone Assessment, to inform parents of online testing, and to answer questions and provide resources to parents. What is the Georgia Milestones Assessment System? It is a system that's comprehensive. Um, it spans over grades 3 through high school. My daughter's actually in ninth grade, and so she has to take Georgia Milestones for algebra. So it's not only those lower grades, it goes all the way through high school. And for public schools, of course, the Georgia Milestones measures how well students learned knowledge and skills outlined in state English language arts, math, and science standards. The purpose of the Georgia Milestones assessments are designed to provide parents, students, teachers, and administrators with critical information on each child's achievement level and readiness for the next grade level. Who is tested? So for elementary, it's third, fourth, and fifth grade. In third and fourth grade, the students are tested on ELA and math. In fifth grade, the students are tested on ELA, math, and science. Here's our testing schedule. So the testing schedule is new for this year. The testing schedule did get pushed back this year. The testing department felt like we needed to have additional days due to the absences that we had in January due to the weather. And the state gives us a window of when we can test. And so the DeKalb County Schools decided to push it back to May. So this year, we're going to start on May 1st. We're actually going to be starting with the math test. That is new for this year as well. We always start with reading, but this year we're starting with math. So on May 1st, which is a Thursday, we're going to take math section 1. And on Friday, May 2nd, we're going to take math section 2. Then on Monday, May 5th, that's going to be a makeup session day. So if your child missed a test, they will make up on that Monday. Then on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're going to do the ELA test. ELA is broken into 3 parts, 3 sections. The first test is the essay, so that's ELA 1. That's usually our longest test. And then on Wednesday, May 7th, that will be ELA 2. And on Thursday, May 8th, that will be ELA 3. ELA 2 is more reading, comprehension, a lot of passages. There's some constructed response in there. And then on Thursday, it's a lot more grammar and language usage. On Friday, May 9th, this is when the fifth graders are going to take the science test. There are 2 sections, and they take both sections on that day. It will also be a makeup day for our third and fourth grade students. The third and fourth grade students do not have to take science, so this will be a makeup day for them. And then on Monday, May 12th, that will also be a makeup day, along with Tuesday, May 13th. That is our final makeup day, and that's when I collect all of the information and I turn that into the district. So it's really, really important. We have a tight window. It's really important that students are at school, they're on time, and they don't have to do any makeups. Um, if there are multiple tests that are missed, we do a morning session and an afternoon makeup session. If your child gets sick or if there's any emergency, you can always email me, Tiffany_Merritt at DeKalbSchoolsGA.org, and I can discuss with you how we move forward. So let's talk about the achievement levels. There are 4 achievement levels to the Georgia milestones. If your child scores a level 4, they are considered a distinguished learner and that they are demonstrating advanced proficiency. If your child scores a level 3, they are considered a proficient level or on grade level, and they're demonstrating proficiency. Levels 3 and 4 is definitely where we push our students to be, and majority of the students at Ashford Park do score in the levels 3 and 4. Level 2, if your child scores that, they're considered a developing learner and that they demonstrate some proficiency. And level 1, if your child scores a level 1, they're considered a beginning learner and that they are not ready to move on to the next grade. There's still some opportunity for them. And typically, if your child scores a level 1, they don't pass Georgia milestones. Levels 3 and 4 pass for sure. Levels 2 pass with a Lexile that is on grade level. So that moves us into promotion. For third grade, the third grade students have to pass the ELA test to move on to fourth grade. There's no promotion for fourth, they move on. And then fifth grade students, they have to pass the ELA test and the math test for promotion to middle school. When we receive our scores, we are notified if any students need to do the retest. The retest takes place at the very end of May, and there's opportunity for the students to show that they are proficient. The retest isn't as long as the original. So most students who do have to take the retest do a really good job and are able to master. If your child does not pass the retest, we have a meeting you can appeal. It's parent decision on promotion. You would meet with myself, Principal Freeman, your homeroom teacher, and we will determine next steps for your child. Testing is done online. The Georgia Milestones test is taken solely on the computer and in person. There are no paper tests. The state is really moving away from any paper test. Most of these state tests for students who do not have any severe disabilities are online. Teachers have been preparing the students in a variety of ways by using online platforms like Illuminate, RightScore, iReady, and iExcel. So then let's talk about the question types. There are several different question types on this test. You have multiple choice and multi-select, drop-down menus, drag and drops, which I didn't add there, but all of those are on the ELA, math, and the science. The students have been working on multi-select and drop-down menus. That's why we use Illuminate. Illuminate is also where students are familiar with taking their benchmarks. And so they've been practicing all year with these types of questions, so it won't be a surprise or anything new to them. We talk to the kids and teach them and work with them a lot on the multi-select. Multi-select questions are very important. It's important for students to read if a question says which two answers need to be chosen, and then they will select two. If they only select one, of course, they're not going to get that credit for that question. There's also constructed response, open-ended questions where they have to type a paragraph. That's on the ELA test. And then the extended response is where they have to write an essay, and that is on the ELA test. Here is an example of a third grade ELA test question sample. You can see they have like a split screen on their computer, and then they'll have these drag bars. So their task will be here. They'll read their passage, and then they'll have their response section over here. If they're typing an essay, they'll type in the box. They can click to enlarge. There's lots of tools that they'll be able to use. If it is a multiple choice, just the question will be here to the side. Here's an example of a grade 4 math test question. Part A, Part B questions are a lot. There's quite a few of these types of questions on the test. So it's really important that students are getting both of these correct. And we work with them a lot on these types of questions, given a lot of strategies. They do get partial credit if they get one part of the question correct. And then here's a sample of a fifth grade science question. Again, part A, part B. There's lots of imagery on the science test. They'll have drag and drop options. They'll have to also have select. So on the science test, it's really important that the kids are reading the questions very explicitly. They are underlining, so they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And again, teachers spend a lot of time with the kids, teaching them how to use the platform and the different strategies that they can apply and using the correct tools to help them. So, what are teachers doing to prepare your child? The teachers are doing a lot. Writing across the curriculum, evidence-based writing across all content areas. As administrators, we really push for the teachers to have writing in every content, not just ELA. We've already taught the kids how to write an opinion essay, an informative essay, and narrative. Of course, you know, we use Eureka Math. We've adopted that for a few years now. We do Number Talk, STEM, PBL, project-based learning, which we've introduced this year. Matching students to text on their Lexile levels. It's very important because on the reading test, students need to be at a proficient or grade level Lexile to pass. So we work on that all year using curriculum and planning resources provided by the Georgia Department of Education. We use iReady. We've gotten the Pathway, which is new this year, iExcel, STEM Scopes, Right Score, and ReadWorks. Right Score is really critical for third, fourth, and fifth grade. It has been a tremendous resource to prepare our students, and we also use that when we do the mock milestones back in January. Small group reading using Lexiles, Science of Reading Strategies, morning tutorial. I oversee that, and that's been really important because we focus on intervention strategies and then extended learning and enrichment. The teachers are doing that in the classroom. Again, that focus on test taking strategies. We have data talks with our teachers. And in those conversations, we're looking at how the students are performing, how they're approaching answering specific types of questions, and the strategies that we are providing to support the students. So, how can you help your child? The only thing I want you to do is provide words of affirmation. It's really important that they know that they can do this. A lot of the third graders, especially, they get nervous, they have anxiety. We just want to really encourage them as much as possible. Is the kids do well. The students at Asher Park do well on the milestones. I'll tell you, map testing is much harder than the milestones. So kids will often be nervous about it, and then once it's over, they'll say, "Oh, it was easy," blah blah blah. So really encourage them. Let them know that they got it. It's nothing to worry about. They're just doing what they've been doing all year. The night before the test, make sure your child has plenty of rest. On test days, ensure your child is at school on time and eats a healthy breakfast. Being at school on time is really important because state testing is high stakes testing. It's not like MAP. So if your child comes to school late, they're not going to be allowed to go in the classroom. Okay, we're going to hold them in the front area. They'll be able to hang out on the sofa or in the cafeteria, but they cannot disrupt the testing environment. So they'll have to wait until testing is over, and then they will have a session in the afternoon. So if something comes up, let your teachers know. You can let me know. But if they come to school after 8:15, they won't be allowed to go to the classroom. Experience Online Testing Georgia. So this is an excellent website that parents can access. This practice site does not require a login and it's available like every day. This practice site is intended to allow students to familiarize themselves with the online platform prior to testing. And we're going to do a stress test on April 16th. So on April 16th at school, we're going to go on to the Georgia Experience Online. We're going to take the kids through on the actual platform. We're going to show them all the tools. We're going to go through our day of so kind of like a run through is basically what we're going to do. The stress test also allows for the IT departments to make sure that all the schools can handle the bandwidth. So this is a district thing where all the schools will be on the platform at the same time. This is an excellent resource for you as a parent. You want to go to inspire.georgiadoe.org. Um, on here is everything you need to know. So if you wanted to have little talks with your children and practice or go through some question types, everything you need is in this website. The Georgia DOE has revamped their website. It's a one-stop shop. And so that's all you need for any resources. And that concludes our meeting. I will